Hello friends, welcome to a video blog. It was our buddy Aaron's idea to make you a video blog where we talk about van life in the time of Corona.
Bum, bum, bum.
Also known as Wuhan, I got them all in check. Yeah, that's where it happened. That's where it started.
Oh, okay. Some
guy pulled an Ozzy Osbourne, bit the head off of a bat, and now all of us have this global pandemic, you know?
That's exactly how it happened.
Yeah. The question is, what does it mean to live in a van in the middle of this global pandemic where everybody's afraid to touch everything and everybody's afraid that somebody is going to cough on them and you're going to get this potentially deadly form of the flu? And how does this mildly unorthodox lifestyle of van life interplay with that sort of thing, right? So I guess the places to start is like, what disadvantages would being in a van during this? What are you stressed out about, Colette?
I'm most stressed out about not having our showers, I guess.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
I took a cold shower this morning, which is like worse than not having a shower, and that pretty much sucked.
We generally rely on gyms to take showers at. And one of the things that I saw circulating in the news the other day is that gyms are a really great place for this sort of thing to transmit, you know? Because everybody's sweating all over everything and breathing heavy and
not cleaning their equipment and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and moving from machine to machine or weight to weight without washing their hands and stuff. And so, you know, I mean, we barely work out when we go into the gym, and so that's not even as big of an issue. It's that if it becomes one of those places that starts to shut down, it could really impact the way that van lifers are able to get clean and wash their hands. And
it's important, especially right now.
Yeah, those facilities are super important. Because social distance, I mean, we should talk about like the measures that everybody's saying that you should take. Social distancing is one of them.
Yeah. Just
general hygiene, washing your hands, making sure that you're not rubbing your face after you touch a doorknob all the time and that sort of thing.
Well, and I just keep thinking like, oh, if it gets really bad, could we just go boondock somewhere and hang out in the middle of nowhere for a while? But we wouldn't have a shower, which is a thing that we don't have. In the Metro Suite, at least, had an option if we needed it. And we don't have that in here. The other thing we don't have is a pooper.
Right.
So you would poop outside, and my butthole would close up for
several days.
Foreseeable future.
Until you had to.
And then it's like groceries. Yeah. So how long could you really go out and boondock for?
Well, I mean, so we should say one of the clear, most obvious advantages to being in the van is that if avoiding large social gatherings and practicing social distancing where you don't get close to people that you don't have to be near, to the extent if you have a remote job, basically when you are living in a vehicle with your living space totally mobile, you can drive out to BLM land where there's nobody, right?
Exactly.
Go out to the desert in, you know, southern Arizona where it's always 75 degrees because apparently this stuff can't exist on 70-degree surfaces, and you just open your throat up to the sun, like to just disinfect your throat.
Black hole sun!
To bleach the virus out of you. I mean, so that's one of the options, right? Is that, I mean, to a certain degree, especially in a van this size, if you're gonna have access to water out there, and you know, I mean, this isn't an earthquake. Utilities probably aren't gonna stop functioning, right? Because those are all remotely controlled and stuff, and so this isn't gonna cause us to run out of water in the next couple of months. It's not gonna cause us to run out of cell service and that sort of thing like some huge natural disaster would. And so boondocking I think is an option, right? Because I was also listening, even in Italy right now, food stores are open. And that's one of the places in the Western world that's the very most locked down, right? And you can still go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, the other crazy thing is, like, at least right now, and of course, you know, we're talking about this on March 13th. Who knows? Everything's been changing so rapidly that we don't know how it's going to go. But, you know, at the moment, what the stores are sold out of aren't staples. They're not the things that you can't live without. They're Purell.
Yeah, but did you see Daniel Sloss, one of our favorite comedians? He posted posted an Instagram story this morning from a Sainsbury's, which is a major grocery chain in England and the UK, and he showed like all the vegetables were out and all the pasta was gone.
See, that's where I would start. Beans pasta, and dry goods and pasta. But he was like, he showed like the shelves just empty, like no pasta, and like there weren't any like Brussels sprouts or some veggies, and he was making jokes, of course, about what we would go for first. But, yeah. To a certain degree, I think that what we're experiencing right now is just the initial panic, right? Because they're not, those things, I think that those things aren't going to discontinue production or distribution. It's just that they're sold out right now because everybody in the last 3 days went, oh, this is real. Right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Next week, are we going to be able to buy Purell? Next week, are we going to have pasta again? Like,
I expect so.
Does it slow down the suppliers like getting their stuff to stores?
Potentially. Well, here's another one of the advantages of being in a van right now. Because Russia refused to decrease their oil production, Saudi Arabia has basically declared a price war on them, lowering gas costs right now, which is a benefit that the general American public isn't even perceiving because they don't want to drive anywhere. We went to Costco earlier today to go get some stuff, but also to get gas. And we ended up getting gas, but not going into the store because there were no parking spaces available. But the lines at the gas station part of Costco were not commensurately long with the amount of people that were inside of Costco. Because when you're being told to telecommute, if you can, when you're being told to not go to large gatherings and all of the entertainment is shut down, low gas prices don't help you, right? But to the extent that you're trying to get out to BLM land,
you could run away for real cheap. I haven't even started to think about any financial implications from it. My job is still going.
Yeah, well,
I still have some savings, but it's
that's a bit of a scary thing, right? Is that I work remotely for the most part right now, but I had to be at a meeting in Irvine. I'm probably going to have to be at meetings down the road in San Diego, Orange, and Los Angeles counties. You work in a gym where if they start shutting gyms down, that probably, not only will it be an early one because it's kind of a boutique-y place, but like then you just sort of don't have work, right?
Yeah, and I really haven't thought that far ahead. I don't know. It's like I'm trying to find the balance between being aware, being concerned, being cautious, and then like not trying to scare myself, or not scare myself, but like create more anxiety for myself than need be. Because I do still have a job.
And I was thinking about this is, so you do go boondock, right? I live in a van. I get to get away from all of these people. You go into the store, you Purell up, you buy a bunch of dry goods, whatever you need, like as much water as you can take, a whole bunch of dry goods. You've got food for a month or whatever, 2 months or whatever, and you get out there and you get sick. Well, so there's this social advantage that I have and you have, right? Because we're together. If one of us starts experiencing symptoms, the other one can drive us closer and closer as we get sicker to some medical facilities. But if you're alone in a van and you're actually trying to be alone, it does pose a problem, because what if you fall ill suddenly? You know, you need to send coordinates out on your satellite phone or something for somebody to come get you. And of course, it's not that dire. For the most part, in the United States in general, you have access to cell service, and so somebody could come pick you up. But that's definitely a concern, is that if you do get out in the wilderness and you start to get sick, what are you going to do? But my answer in my fortunate situation is that I'd make you drive me to the hospital, right? And vice versa. Obviously. One of the things I read on the CDC for precautions, you know, most of them are social distancing, general hygiene things that you always, were taught to do. The social interactions around shaking hands and stuff have sort of changed. But then one of the other things that I read about was good ventilation. If you need to ride in a cab or a bus or something that's being used by a form of transportation that's being used by a whole bunch of people, they recommend that you try to make sure that it's as ventilated as it can be.
Interesting.
And that made me think about the window rain guards that we have on the other van that we haven't gotten on this van. The more air that's moving through this van, the higher chance we have of being in the van and the virus is in here and we still don't get infected.
I'm really hoping that our new snake plant is going to do it for us.
We got one little tiny snake plant.
It's supposed to cleanse the air. That's what NASA says.
It's going to scrub, that one tiny snake plant is going to scrub all of the toxins out of the air.
You got to have faith in her and she'll help us out. I think it's a her.
The other question is, if we are living in such confined quarters with the three of us, you, me, and Spin, what do we do if there's some sort of contamination to make sure that it doesn't get into the places that are more, let's call them fluid intimate or whatever, right? Things that are going to get into your mouth, things that are going to get into your nose and that sort of thing. It's like if I bring my rain jacket, because it's been raining, into the van, should I put it somewhere away from anywhere near my toothbrush?
Well, I think when it's just us, like if it's on any of our stuff, I feel like it's going to find its way to us anyway.
If we're going to get it, we're going to get it.
So if we lived in a apartment complex, we lived in a van with more than just us, or not a van, but a house or whatever.
Right.
They probably would be, because you're around more people. If it's just the two of us, there's very few of us.
That's a good point, especially to the degree that you're careful at the gas station and you're careful when you go into the grocery store. In a lot of ways, this is a less social way to live, right? Mm-hmm. Because you aren't in a house with a bunch of roommates. You don't have kids that just came back from school running around. Although I will say this, I know right now that I have touched one door handle outside of the van since the last time that I washed my hands. And there is not Purell in the van because we can't buy it right now. And I've been very conscious about that. I'm pretty sure it was a clean door handle. It was a low traffic friend's house out in a pretty unpopulated part of Southern California.
Touch your face. Don't do it.
But I did realize this earlier today, that I've been elbowing and not shaking people's hands and stuff, but I haven't been monitoring what people do to my dog or who touches my dog, and I kiss him on the head every 20 minutes.
He's so cute.
So, I mean, it's like things like this take a little time to work through your head.
Yeah.
And now just like
you're starting to think about all the things that you touch, and what did you touch, and then what did you touch, and where then would you touch after that, and
right.
It's crazy.
It can definitely induce anxiety.
And I mean, we're in such a we're in a good position, that's the one of the higher things to worry about on our list. We're not panicking about money as of yet. I have really good health insurance. I know that you live on the spectrum of not having as great a health insurance, but there are people that this is a much bigger problem for.
Sure.
So I think people, at least from my perspective, the people in vans are kind of lucky. Are pretty lucky because space. I
also feel like I feel like living in a van during this, the people who are in vans experience a very similar spectrum of challenges and advantages as the rest of the people in the world, right?
Yeah.
If you are living in a van and you don't have a job and you've got $150,000, the van's paid for and you've got $150,000 saved up from your corporate job that you jumped ship from 6 months ago or whatever, great, you just go out the Joshua tree and twiddle your thumbs until this thing blows over. But then a lot of people who are living in vans are like living paycheck to paycheck just like everybody else. They've got debt and that sort of thing, and so I don't think the van is a huge modifier or transformer of this moment for most people. Mm-hmm. But it's maybe an interesting thing to talk about. I don't know the answers. I hope that you guys take care of yourselves and you love each other. Just not too close. Just maybe like you're at a middle school dance or something.
Like,
keep that.
Dance like Buddha's in between you.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's a Jesus one.
Yeah.
What is it?
The same thing.
Yeah. And then they just switched it to Buddha.
Yeah, guys.
Which they were hippies and they wanted you further apart. So I don't know about that. But.
Oh, because Buddha's bigger than Jesus.
I think so.
That's right.
I don't know.
Because Jesus was a svelte, long-haired white man.
No, he was a Jew.
Oh, he was a brown Jew?
He was a brown Jew.
Oh, you're crushing my view of history.
I know.